This is birth certificate rights, full awakening of your soul. This is now how the strawman can withdraw his trust funds from the government that you own. This is part 4A of the transformation project. Because now that you're learning how your industry works, you want to have an overall idea from different sources. What you're seeing is outside is really yours. Because you're trying to decide what your future will be. Are you going to be implementing chemicals and byproducts to your own kind of people? Or will you implement products based on Mother Nature natural resources of products? Are you now going to make products based on what you found on Earth, above the ground and below the ground? Because based on your study, everything that sits and inside of Earth that are not manipulated with chemicals by humans is good for your human soul. So which one do you think will implement? Now let's see around the area where you live how you can define your industries and what are they doing to harm you as the boss that one day may want to work for this industry, but you want to do right to your people. So now let me walk you through a shopping grocery store. So this is Canadian Superstore. It's a standalone building, so it's a main industry. A standalone building. And there's another standalone building that belongs to Canadian Tire. So these are the produce aisle, and the rest are all byproducts of it. Everything else is sweets, refrigerated foods, meats, byproducts, and everybody's getting their groceries on the byproducts. They're coming out with vegan food, but they're still fattening byproducts, and the rest are all chemicals and byproducts of different industries of trades. Different packaging products that are chemical-based, frozen foods based on chemical preservatives, whole sugar-based cereals, and this is the effect of chemicals in your body, canned foods of chemicals and byproducts, clothing that are made of synthetic materials that allows the body to decompress from high energy when you wear them. More sugar drinks. Now they even introduce liquors in the food industry so they can hammer your energy more. Because the more alcohol you drink, the lower your energy becomes. Cleaning supplies full of chemicals. And of course, on the way out to the checking point, they upsell you more junk food while you're waiting to smash yourself. These checkouts are not to speed up your purchase. So now you see it. In other words, it's to get you ready for the next millennia of AI. Put chips on you so you can display your own serving. And if you don't have a chip, that means you cannot do grocery shopping in any of the stores. So let's just say that you are now 19 years old and you want to run your own company. Let's just say your parents own one of the Royal Canadian Superstore, a standalone building like this, and now you want to run one of the companies that your parents are managing. Because you've taken all the courses and graduated now, perhaps your parents will give you to manage one of their sub-industries, the baby companies of the big corporation. So let's just say your parents own this plaza and it has a lot of different companies in it. And one of the subsidiary or baby company the Superstore has is Shoppers Drug Mart. If you want to manage a Tim Hortons or a Remax or an LCBO or a Shoppers Drug Mart that your parents own, then you have to take the courses to get the diplomas for each of these industries that you can now put. This is supposed to be natural products, and everything else is chemical based. Now, I just walked around the whole Shoppers Drug Mart and I didn't see the registration plaque on the wall. So how many of these big industries are getting away with the process? Sorry, I didn't know I was on a speedometer of recording, so let me just slow down. So the Superstore is the main corporation. So let's just say you're now 19 and you want to work for your parents. Because your parents own all these shopping stores in a plaza strip. So of course your parents will ask you to make sure you study it first, get a diploma, and then they will let you manage one of the smaller store first. And this is how you get an experience. You start from low and then you move your way up. So you can also learn how to be deceitful to your own workers. Because now the workers doesn't know that you are now the president that used to be the working person in that same industry. So one thing I did is that I walked around inside Shoppers Drug Mart and I looked for the registration on their wall. There's no business registration, not that I could see. I could only see a diploma from the pharmacist portrayed on the wall. So how many more industries are getting away with this, not registering on time? Because it's not making you any money if they're not registering, right? You see, this is how the elites get rich. They know the process on how to withdraw the trust fund. They know how the process to get rich by operating one of the stores and then get bigger and bigger and bigger. And they only pass it to their children, to their families, to their friends. Because passing it to you means they're gonna lose their workers, the slaves. The slaves that are also co-owner of all the companies outside of you. But they're all embezzling money. They're helping each other. Remember that. So now let me walk you through how these things work. Why come up with an idea to kill you eventually? So remember, these are all your stores. More stores that you own. All these car makers that you are seeing on the road, they're all your car manufacturing companies. The road that you walk on is your own company too. So you ever wonder how some companies sometimes are still in the business even though you don't see anybody coming into them? They're part of your shell company. In other words, they're just dummy corporations sitting around. That's the best way for your glass of house to embezzle the money in different ways, to hide it in different dummy corporations like you, a dummy corporation. So every one of these industries are taught to trick you. They all want you to come in so you could spend money inside their stores. Dollarama are rejects of manufacturing companies. Dollarama started with less than $1 on items before. And that's how the industry will trick you, right? Because they have to come up with ways how to bring you in, how to reel you in into the industry of fear. So first they entice you with 99 cents so you could go crazy, right? And now you're addicted to Dollarama. So now you're going to keep coming back regardless of how much they charge you now. Because now you're going to Dollarama, items are now at $5. $5. And yet when you take them home, they don't fucking work. Don't they know that they're tricking the boss? Because all the customers are really their boss. But you have to remember, all the workers in the sub industries of trade are people like you, the dummy ones who doesn't know that they are worth millions of dollars based on your trust fund. So when you drive around next time and you see a lot of strip plaza everywhere and you're wondering, I've seen those strip plaza the last 20 years and that business is still alive. That's because it's one of the shell company. It's just a dummy view for you to see. So what's wrong with McDonald's? Yes, McDonald's is one of a corporation that's making you a lot of money, but it's also killing a lot of your own kind of people. Remember, all businesses start good until they cannot profit from you anymore. Then they have to think of ways how they can entice you to come in. And all the elites and the oligarchs thought sugar-based, meat products. But let's lace them all with chemicals so we can fatten them and make them sick. So all the other industries aside from us that rely on our business can also benefit from us. Because remember, if you get sick, where do you run? To the next industry of trade. Medication, medical industry, pharmaceutical industry, etc. And how do you get there? By using a car that is full of chemicals in it. You see, every time they make something, they have to figure out what way can we bring down your energy as soon as you enter the place, as soon as you leave it, and how can you bring it inside your house so your energy is always getting lower down. Because if you work with high energy, you're going to be doing things faster. That's not what they expect from you. They want you to work slower depending on the industry that you're serving. If you're serving a fast industry, they're not going to hire fat people. They're not going to hire sick people. They're going to hire somebody that can move fast based on the industry that you're working for. So you see, they trade profits of ideas of which one can serve us better based on that slavery systems of control. While the elites are running around in different countries, taking over different lands to enrich themselves even more, they keep raising your taxes. They keep thinking of ways to make you more work for them, more than your fair share of 8 hours, because the intent is to make you work 7 days a week. And what I showed you on the checkout items of your grocery store, it's not to make you check out faster. It's because they're trying to get ready for the next generation of slaves. It's so they can put a chip in your hand so you can now go into a shopping center to do grocery shopping. Without a chip in your hand, you cannot shop inside. That's the new control they're trying to put into you, to control you even more on where and when you can go. Everything in this industries is about how they can manipulate your time based on the efforts of their business, not based on your effort. It's based on how they can grow their business on the slavery systems of control. So all of them will always have to figure out, how can we fear the people so they can buy more of our stuff? How can we get them to be addicted to our stuff so we can make money more from each of the slaves? Because we don't want them to take home the money that we gave them. We want to take it back. So how do they take it back? So these are the things that they always think of when they're creating a new business process. Now let me go to part 5. Who's really battling for earth? Who is really battling to free you from slavery, and how can we free ourselves from the slavery systems of control? What is being done right now? Free everyone from slavery. The last but not least is the quantum financial system that we are now getting into the new millennial time. The reliance on the fiat dollar, or the paper money that has no backing to it. Fiat dollar is of thin air. Has no weight, then it has no value. Has no value, then it's fake. Because the intent when it was created is on illusionary base, not fact. Everything on earth is fake. Everything that you learn about is fake.